Welcome, and thank you for joining me in this adventure as we discover the different cognitive distortions or the things that we let our mind almost sabotage our futures with. So, in hopes to be able to find a solution that works for you. So, on that note, quite often they look at the different cognitive distortions, and even though this one we're going to talk about today is very similar to generalization and some even all or nothing thinking, even though it's very similar, they separate them. One of the reasons why is so that you can identify with it. Because if you don't identify with the fact that you're doing this, your subconscious starts to already argue, right? And give you rationale to protect itself because it doesn't like change, right? So your job is to challenge unto change. So minimization and magnification. Magnification is very similar to generalization. It's taking something that's really nothing and creating something anthill of a molehill or something like that. The saying comes to mind. Let's give you an example. So, for example, let's say I have a big presentation, and right before the presentation, I sneeze, achoo, and I get junk because I was just eating a granola bar or having a drink or something. I get junk all over my shirt. Well, I'm able to get most of it off, take it off, and you can't really see it. You can kind of see it up close, but I'm on stage, right? So people won't be able to see it. Even the cameras won't be able to catch it. Pretty much, I've taken care of it pretty good. But in my mind, I'm magnifying what is probably nothing, thinking in my head, oh, everybody's going to look at my shirt and they're not going to respect what I'm saying because I look like a slob. Oh my goodness, why couldn't I have sneezed in my sleeve? Like, right? All these things that we make bigger than they actually are. One example is also with COVID quite often. Traditionally, normally, at least for me, I'd go public places, and if I got a sneeze, I turn away and do my best to hide it. But that's the end of it. I don't think twice about it. With COVID, as soon as you cough or sneeze, you think everybody's judging you, and everybody's like, ah, he's got COVID. Oh no, hide, right? Whereas maybe they are thinking that. I don't know. But the broadcasting or the making a big thing out of something that's really not a big deal. I mean, as long as you're taking care of yourself and doing the right things, of course. But if we get caught up in those things and make caught up in the making of them big, it can stop us from helping other people. It can stop us from doing those things and making the most of our lives. And that's actually a big part of a lot of the mental health concerns that have stemmed or at least come out because of COVID, is because of this constant worry that either we have COVID, we're carrying COVID, or we're going to get somebody else COVID, or right? We're just this constant worry, and that can't be good for our long-term health, right? So learning how to obviously do those things we need to do to stay safe, but if we've done our part to make things safe, being okay with letting those thoughts go and finding evidence that, I don't have to worry about those things. I took care of myself. I sanitized. I did all those things. Minimization, I think, is actually probably almost a worse problem. Maybe not a worse problem, but more common. For example, let's say we have a drinking problem or an eating problem, and we're rationalizing and saying, "No, it's no big deal." And our, a third friend, one, two, three friends have asked us or said, "You know what? We need to deal with this. This is not healthy." And rather than saying, "Oh, my friends care about me," and this is the third friend, maybe there's something to this, we start to say, "Oh, they're just, they're worry warts. We don't, I don't need to worry about these things." So we make it smaller of a problem than it actually is. So I think a lot of people do this with finances too. They think even though they're living paycheck to paycheck, they're like, "Oh, I can afford this new plasma TV or whatever and go into debt." Well, no, you can't, right? And they say stuff like, "Oh, I deserve it." Well, do you deserve the stress that's associated with it? All right. So with that, let's do what we can to use those Socratic questions to find out the truth behind those thoughts. If there's something that needs to be taken care of, let's take care of it. Otherwise, let's move on and stop those cognitive distortions in their tracks. So with that, thank you, everybody. I feel like we're here to inspire. So let's do what we can in our lives to inspire people by being good people, by helping, by sharing good stuff, and liking and commenting so we can get this message out to the world. Take care, everybody.